It is going to be a good day, I promise. Fun regardless. I'm nervous. You've been to my house before. You know I can cook.
That's why I'm nervous.
Appetizers and chips and dip. But here we go.
From the box.
That's right. But I am all about simple recipes and inexpensive recipes. You know, we've got a big family and everybody's always on the go. So this is a recipe that my mom gave me years and years and years ago. It's called stuffed peppers. One pot meal. It can be done in just a few minutes preparation and good for everybody. So the ingredients are 3 to 4 of the big green peppers, which actually I think I would call these medium size because they've got the big honking ones, but I didn't want those. 1.5 to 2 pounds of hamburger, some minute rice, 2 cans of tomato soup, some medium potatoes, a small chopped onion, and salt and pepper to taste. So it's super, super easy. The first thing you do is you just take the hamburger and put it in a bowl because we actually are going to mix all the ingredients together, kind of like you do meatloaf. Right. Kind of get it all together.
Get in there.
Right. So take about a cup of this. This is the fun part. Getting your hands all mushy and disgusting. And then we add a little bit, because you know, I've learned, Deidre Harrop has told us, and Raw Chef Jane, and Jan, the Thrillbilly Gourmet, you just kind of do a dab, a little whatever you want. You know, you don't.
A little more is better.
a little more and better. I went ahead and cut up the onions because I like mine super, super fine. I cannot stand texture of onions, but you gotta have onions because of the flavor.
For sure.
So just put
onions
this in.
Onions are delicious.
Add a little bit more of those later. All right, so here's the fun part.
Missy!
And this is something that the kids can do. Just get all that good and mixed up. And while I'm doing this, I need you to cut up the potatoes.
Okay.
And the reason why you need them in pretty good sized chunks is because when we put it all in the pot, if they're too small, well, they'll just cook the quickest and they'll disintegrate. And then you'll have mashed potatoes stuffed peppers, which you absolutely don't want. So, like I said, here's
mashed
the fun
potato
part.
stuffed pepper sounds kind of good to me. I love mashed potatoes.
But this is the easy and fun part. All right, so while I'm doing that, getting it all good and done, I took my pepper, and you have to, I don't know what you call this, core them out. You have to get the little stem out. So just cut that out around and pop the stem out, and then you just take your spoon and get all the guts. I guess you'd call them guts. And that goes right down in the sink. Get all those seeds out. And I gotta do that to the rest of my peppers. So let me finish doing this right here, and then I'll do the rest of my peppers during the break. We good enough here? Salt and pepper for me. I know we're gonna need some of that because I have to have that to taste. And then once we get it good and mashed up, we're gonna fill the peppers, but we're gonna do that when we come back. Okay.
I can't wait.
Does that look good and mashed up?
That does.
All right, we'll fill the peppers when we come back. See, I can get it started.
You can do it. I believe in you.
All right, we're back in the kitchen cooking my stuffed peppers recipe. In case you missed it in the beginning, we started with 3 to 4 peppers, and I just hollowed them out to get them ready. I took my hamburger, which is about 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds, depending on how big that you're going to make the meatballs, which we'll do in just a minute. A cup of minute rice, 2 cans of tomato soup, and potatoes, and then a small onion. And in the bowl, I took hamburger, onion, and rice, and just smushed it all together, kind of like you would
everybody
meatloaf.
In the pot.
So what I'm going to do is you just basically, seriously, stuff the peppers. That's it. And Carrie, while I do this, will you make some medium-sized meatballs, maybe like 1.5 inches? Because there's always plenty of meat left over, and if you're like my kiddos, they won't eat the peppers, but they'll eat the meatballs.
Sure.
So they like theirs done
just
separate.
Plop them in here?
That's it.
Okay.
So
Easy
see,
enough.
Check that out. Stuffed pepper. And I don't mash it down in there really hard, because if so, the juices can't get down in there, which also helps cook the meat. Check me out for knowing all this. Aren't you guys just so impressed?
Impressive.
I told you. You actually can start this in the morning before you go to work and put it in the crock pot, but ain't nobody got time for that. I never can plan ahead.
Yeah.
So literally, I do this and cook it for about an hour to an hour and a half on medium with the lid crocked open. All right, so once we get some meatballs rolled up in there, which is the fun part, the meatballs.
This is showing you how much I love you, Whitney.
Okay.
Because I'm a vegetarian.
Oh,
And I got my hands all up in this dead cow right here.
You do love
but
it. I'm sorry. But you'll tell me about a vegetarian version of this later. So, all right, so let's say we've got that much started. Now you're just going to take the potatoes and throw them right in on top of that.
Just everybody in the bath.
That's it.
Gotcha.
Tomato soup. This is easy enough. Literally, open
some Campbell's tomato soup.
Plop it in. And then I take a little bit of water usually because you like a little bit of the juices. Just like that.
Okay.
And once this heats up, you know, everything will start to kind of all go together. So we'll turn that on. And then what we'll do throughout the cooking process is we'll open the lid and spoon the soup over it several times so that it will go.
So it won't dry out.
So let's get started cooking on that. Wait a minute. Let me put a little bit more water in that. Because I kind of like mine a little juicy. There we go. You guys see that? Yummy. In our Rachel Ray cookware.
Yay for Rachel Ray.
I would really love to send a cooking segment to her, but I'm afraid she would laugh.
You would have to use EVOO. Her extra virgin olive oil.
We have
her EVOO.
We have those. When they came, I was like, "What? These are so what are they?" But it said it on the box, thank God, so I knew exactly. But that's it. There we go. So the thing about it is you don't want to stir.
Okay.
Because that will just mush all the meatballs up.
And it's
you want
less
to keep
work
them
for me
together.
to do.
Exactly.
Makes it easier.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right, so while those are heating, let's watch some music right here from Randall Hibbert.
Sounds good.
All right, back in the kitchen, and our food's finally done.
Yay!
And so let's recap what we made. I made stuffed peppers, starting with 3 or 4 green peppers, 1.5 to 2 pounds of hamburger meat, a cup of minute rice, 2 cans of tomato soup, 4 medium tomatoes cut in big chunks, a small onion, and salt and pepper. So what we did is we took the hamburger, the rice, and the onions and kind of mushed it all up, kind of like you would a meatloaf. Stuffed those down into our green peppers, then made meatballs out of what was left over, put the potatoes in there with it, poured tomato soup all over everything, cooked it for an hour and a half, and this is what we end up with. 1 pot meal, and what I did at the very, very end is I added a slice of provolone cheese to the top, which kind of seals all of it in and the juices and all that kind of good stuff. But that was super easy, inexpensive, fast, and even I can do it. See?
And it doesn't look scary.
Thank you.
Really doesn't. It looks very
Thank you.
delicious.
Speaking of scary, and try?
My taste tester
If
is
it's
going to try a little bite.
kid friendly, then you know it's going to be good, right?
Oh boy.
You can be honest. Pretty good? Something you actually could make yourself, believe it or not. All I know is the guys in the back are excited.
Let's dig in
because
here
I
and
actually
look at
cooked.
this.
The one thing I didn't bring with it that I probably should have brought is just some bread. Sliced bread with this with butter because of the tomatoey part of it, but it's super easy. I have no idea where my mom got this recipe, but thank you, Mama. Super easy. But you said you had a version.
I do.
Okay.
Of course, like I said, I'm a vegetarian, so, but I've made, it's very similar. It's the same way, but you just substitute in beans instead of the meat.
Okay.
It's not as, this is nice and firm, like when you go in there, you're getting a nice firm bite of food, but with the beans, it falls apart a little bit more, but it's still a delicious flavor. Same thing, and we used mozzarella, but I like the use of provolone because I really love provolone cheese. So.
Provolone's probably one of my very, very favorites.
And I like the way that you have potatoes and you have like all the side menu items and everything here.
Try this on. See, this is super fun. I found these online. I don't know. It's one of those things that come up in your feed and you're like, oh, I have to have those.
You know what this reminds me of? E.T. Phone home.
Sid, you're going to have a pair now, right? Hold them up. Cool.
Do a rave.
Whoop, whoop. This will be super fun on New Year's Eve.
They will be. They will be so much fun.
Sorry, it's the little things.
Are you guys going anywhere for New Year's Eve?
There'll be a party at my house, probably over with by about 9 p.m.
Nice. So you don't actually watch the ball drop.
I try every year. It doesn't happen. Hey, coming up on tomorrow's show, it's our New Year's Eve show. We recap 2016 and show you our favorite segments, plus funny bloopers and outtakes. It's a show that you won't want to miss. Everybody have a good day. Bye-bye.
Horizon Credit Union is the premier sponsor of Good Day Tri-Cities.